From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, the Loom Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Welcome back, Scott Robinson with you for another edition of Beyond the Humidor. We have retrieved our gorilla, so our gorilla has returned, and we have Gorilla Cam.
Yes, we do. Gorilla Cam has returned.
The CEO of Cigar Industry has returned. Very nice. Speaking of, how are you doing, Gorilla?
The horrors persist, but so do I.
The horrors or the whores?
Horrors.
Okay. Just checking.
Enunciate.
Horrors.
Well, there is that.
Isn't that a MASH reference? Am I
don't
remembering?
fucking know.
Anyway,
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
very good, Mr. Robinson. Nice to be back with the four of you again, or three of you again.
I was going to say.
Although we do have a studio audience today, so you know.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Hi, studio audience. One finger salute from the studio audience.
All right. Hey, how you doing there, Lawrence?
Good. I can't help but think that our studio audience was put here by the proprietor of said established to make sure we don't go fucking rogue in here.
Too late.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I invited the studio audience, and he actually accepted.
Huh.
Well, that's nice.
You feeling okay, man? All right.
He shrugs.
Yeah.
And Mr. Robinson, how are you?
I'm good. We do have to talk about the 800-pound elephant in the room from the last episode. I think the gorilla, your rendition of it was beautiful. We have to provide an apology for our listeners because when we fuck up, we are bigger people and we will apologize for our folly. So I will allow the CEO of Guerrilla Industries to explain said folly.
Audience, the technical answer of what happened is because we're in a space that's very open and echoey, it sounds louder to us in the space. So headphones got turned up, and then subsequently volume knobs on the board got turned down. Except the music, which came in like a bull elephant at the start and end of the podcast, was hanging. So,
Give it to me. Come on.
That's the technical answer. The more, for the laymen who maybe are not audiophiles, do not do this in their day job. Greg fucked up the board and the music was way too goddamn loud. You couldn't hear Scott
This
say
is
anything.
what happens when Gorilla takes an episode off.
Come on, Gorilla. You got to give it to me.
I did my very, very, very best to make it better, and it still wasn't great. But yeah, the music came in. Bah, 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 bah.
Thank you, Gorilla.
I'm the human podcast.
So the short trip to Grandma's house, it's Greg's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I haven't run the board in how many episodes now?
Oh shit, that light's supposed to be red. Fuck. See, I can do that.
Believe it
Believe
or not, we almost had that happen when you weren't here too.
Of course you fucking... You know how I know? Because the recording started 3 seconds before the countdown did.
Click. Oh, shit, we're live.
Bum, bum, bum.
So in other words, Greg's fired from the board from here on out.
That's
But that
fine.
also means it was recording everything before that, so I heard all the mean things you said about me. So we'll talk about that later.
Gorilla has a list.
Ooh.
As long as he doesn't give us any pagers, we'll be fine.
Wow.
Wow.
Way to keep things relevant with the news, Greg.
You've got mail.
It's for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Gorilla, what are you smoking?
So, per Greg's recommendation, I am smoking the natural version of the newest Last Cowboy from Sinestro. It's the Year of the Cowboy, I think it's called.
Correct. You're the cowboy.
So I have literally just lit it, so notes to follow.
Yeah, right. Hey, Greg, what are you smoking?
I too went with the natural version of The Last Cowboy, and if you will permit me for a minute, I will pontificate upon that. It is a Connecticut wrapper, Cameroon binder, Nicaraguan, Piloto Cubano, Andaleo, and Pennsylvania filler. These are, of course, rolled at the La Aurora factory in the Dominican Republic. It is a 6x54. It is a limited edition, so I believe when they're gone. But hey, they're really good.
Wow. Way to show off, Greg. I'm smoking an apostate, the Initiatory, and it's fabulous. It's fantastic. You're not getting any notes this week, so live with it.
We've talked about it already.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
see-
Listen to all our prior recordings.
See one of any of the 12 episodes where we've talked about apostate cigars.
Believe it or not, I go to Nampa. The 7 and 8 premiere party is going to be next Friday. So 7 and 8 in the apostate line will be on a future recording. Stand by for that.
Yes.
We just, I say we because I'm big enough to be two people, just did another Feathered Serpent Friday last Friday.
I saw that.
That's what I was smoking for the Feathered Serpent for the Friday cigar of the day there. I jumped in on the Last Cowboy from Sinistro as well, but I am doing the Maduro. So, Gregory, if you would be so kind.
Certainly. Wrapper is a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro. Binder in this case is Corojo. Filler is Piloto Cubano and Nicaraguan and Andalalo. And it too is the Dominican Republic out of La Aurora with a 6x54 ring gauge. Yours, they say, is a full-strength cigar, and Anthony's and mine, Gorilla's, is medium, so they say. That remains to be seen.
I lit this a little earlier than you did on yours, and I would have to say yes. This is probably that's probably a pretty good indication, a pretty good descriptor of this. I am glad I ate something about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. This would not have been a wonderful have an 8 since breakfast cigar, but just for not having anything in your stomach, but really dark flavor on this, and so far I'm really liking it.
All right, so hold on now. I want the listener and the viewers to witness what just happened here. Now, you notice I haven't lit this yet because I care about my viewers and listeners, and I will like this upon first smoke and have a go at it, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about right now is Fucko Incorporated here gave Larry a description of his cigar and everything. Did he offer to do that for mine? No. What if you're a first-time listener and you have no clue? Shut up! That what the wonderful initiator by apostate is. What is its content? You don't know. So right now you're sitting there in blissful, curious ignorance, not knowing. I don't want to hear from the gorilla right now. Go back into your enclosure.
Gorilla turned your mic off.
I did not do that.
You could have.
I'm still a little bit scared of Scott. I did not shut his mic off.
I am not scary. Why do people think I'm scary?
Could be the black thing.
Shall we go back? Shall we go back to the 2 Christmas episodes ago?
What about the 2 Christmas ago?
It's titled, if I remember right, Gorilla, I Am Not a Monster.
No, that's the one right after.
That's
when he had to explain.
Explain why he hates it's
a wonderful.
It's a wonderful. I almost said it's a small world. He probably doesn't like that either.
Would you like the description on your
Well,
cigar?
yeah. There's no way we can get around it now.
Oh no, it's too late now.
Bullshit. Pump the brakes now.
The estate of Jimmy Stewart is still waiting for its apology. But.
Yes. Mm.
I think I provided a very beautiful apology
It
on
was
that
more of a
episode.
eulogy. I think you got the wrong G there, homie. Just
another way they keep the black man down. You see this?
You're 6'5", 200+ pounds. We ain't keeping you down unless you're dead.
Well, that's really sweet. You say 200 pounds. You better add about 90 to it.
Yeah,
I
much
was
to my doctor's chagrin.
That's a big plus.
I was not swinging that stick if you paid me. So your cigar, Mr. Robinson, the wrapper is Ecuadorian Sumatra, which, as we all know, is a beautiful wrapper here. Thank you, Vanna Black.
That's not the first time he's done that either. That's really surprising. We got
No, but I caught Larry mid-puff.
You got him.
I was not ready to retrohale that.
Since you did, how is it? While we're here,
Better now.
The binder is a Mexican-grown San Andreas. The filler is Dominican. It is a 6x52 Toro Vitola. They come in 12-count boxes. MSRP is $2.50 a cigar. Your price may vary depending on the tax in the wretched state you choose to live in.
$2.50.
$12.50.
That's not what you said.
That's
Oh,
not what
12
you said.
Sorry, Brandon.
Yeah,
$12.50.
somewhere Brandon's going, what the fuck?
Why is everybody ordering initiators?
Fucking bands more than that. What are you doing, man? Jesus.
Look, Brandon knows all three of us well enough to know better.
Don't try to wrap us into shit.
Don't lay that shit on us, man.
I mean, I have to admit, though, when you said $2.50, I'm like,
Fuck.
quick to the Blackmobile.
Cash the check, damn it.
I'll pull a second fucking mortgage.
Let it go, Larry.
That's how good. That's how good the apostate is.
Yes, as it is.
So, Greg, we got some cigar news that you would like to share. Compliments of our wonderful, beautiful folks at PCA.
Let's talk first. I'm going to jump around for a second here because before we get into... Well, if we want to talk the politics first, they're all going to tune out.
Okay, fine.
So let's do the politics last. So the first thing I want to talk about for PCA, and this is actually huge. In case you all don't know, the PCA is a Premium Cigar Association. They used to be IPCPR. Please don't ask me to ramble that off because I'm going to get it wrong. They are excited to welcome back Davidoff of Geneva as an exhibitor to the 2025 trade show that will be in New Orleans. So that's really exciting to see them come back again.
Because they've been out for quite a while now.
It's been at least 4 or 5 years, that they haven't been there. So they're going to be back. It's great to see because they are one of the best cigar brands out there as far as this not humble person's opinion is concerned. Got to throw that out there before you two do.
What?
Fratello Cigars is excited to announce the debut of its latest innovation, the Fratello Bianco Negro. At this year's Intertabac conference, which was in Drummud, Germany, that was actually this week. I know because our good friend Enrique with 1502 was kind enough to send me some pictures of his dalliances up there. It is produced at the esteemed Hoya de Nicaragua factory in Esteli, that would be in Nicaragua. Cigar embodies, I can't even read, and I'm the one that wrote this, embodies the essence of duality, delivering smooth yet robust smoking experience. The blend is a mix of tobaccos from Mexico, Indonesia, and Nicaragua. Omar de Freyes is how you say his name?
C,
thank you. He said, we wanted to create something that pays tribute to the Fratello Bianco White, introducing a new level of industry and sophistication. The Bianco Nero, not Negro, because I can't read the mistype that I did the first time, is more than just a cigar. It's an experience that encapsulates the art of contrast, balancing complexity and richness with each draw. That will start shipping to retailers somewhere upon the 29th of November. J.C. Newman is shipping its Brick House Bricktoberfest cigars to 133 retailers across the United States and the Weimar Republic of Germany. This year's release of the Brick House Bricktoberfest is a 6x52 with a pigtail cap. Of course, it's rolled at J.C. Newman's factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. This limited edition cigar features a Havana Rosado wrapper grown in Ecuador with a healthy blend of Nicaraguan tobaccos. The blend is designed to pair perfectly with bold Oktoberfest-style lagers. I'm not a beer drinker. I yield to the two of you on that. They come in 10-count boxes. Cigars suggested retail price is $10 each or $100 for a box.
you know, this gives me an idea. Hear me out here.
Hearing you
In
out.
all seriousness, being that Oktoberfest is going to be upon us, we have a local German brew house. We should see if we could do a show on an off day during the week and do a show there.
Sure.
That would be cool. Big giant steins of beer is good, yeah?
The problem with giant steins is they get warm, but yes.
I know. But
They
still,
have some great beers down
they
there.
do nothing small. So when you have, I mean, we're going to do Oktoberfest. We need the big Mamma Jamma, you know.
I got you.
You want a whole yard of beer?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with that. Or it's the metric system. It is not a yard.
Okay. 5 pints.
Mita.
So, Blackwork Studio is pleased to announce the upcoming release of Killer Bee Buzzsaw as a Smoke-In exclusive. For those of you that wish to purchase this particular cigar, you need to go to smokein.com. Smoke-In has been a big supporter of the Blackwork Studio, so they want to do something special for their first exclusive release. It will be available today, September 23rd. It is a Nicaraguan cigar of origin, Ecuadorian, Maduro, and Connecticut wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler. It's a Perfecto at 5 by 56, 10 count box, $99.95. That's actually not bad for that cigar. It sounds really good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
All right,
Very nice.
let's get our tinfoil hats on for a minute. The FDA, as you know, has been trying to get deeming regulations passed for cigars, how they're manufactured, how they're tested, how they're controlled within the United States. The wonderful Judge Amit P. Mehta struck that down year before last. He basically said, take your regulations and shove it. There's no evidence they found. What I found funny is some of these quotes that the government is arguing from the FDA. So Lindsay Powell, that's the representative for the FDA, found herself struggling to convince the judge that premium cigars, the judges, this is a three-panel appeal, that premium cigars, despite low frequency of use, still pose material health risks high enough to warrant FDA regulations. They
Good
do
save. Yeah.
they do, but they do pose not mental health risks. But I think cigars are actually, they help your mental health because they force you to relax. As Enrique likes to say, relax and enjoy. This is what I laughed about. So this is Powell testifying to the three-panel judges. And I quote, if they are not regulated, people get the message that they are relatively safe. Patterns of use will change. If premium cigars are carved out from the regulation, they are not subject to any of these FDA authorities. You can then have people handing out free samples and putting them in vending machines. Have you seen a cigar vending machine in the last 20 years?
Unfortunately, I hate to shoot you in the foot, but yes, there was somebody at PCA,
Yeah.
when we were all there, that was marketing a cigar vending machine.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Well, and we all talked about this with them. The uphill battle that they're facing already is the regulations that are already in place to prevent that type of stuff. So it's not like you're going to throw a cigar vending machine in the gas station, your local gas station, or in your local 7-Eleven. It's meant for places that already typically sell cigars in one way, shape, or form.
It's not going in the 7-Eleven where anybody can walk in and use it. It's going to go in a place like a tobacco retailer where you have to be 21 to walk in the door.
It'll be a tobacco retailer. It will be a Indian casino. It will be, riverboat. Yeah, it's going to be very limited. Like I said, we travel with and for cigars quite a bit, and I've never seen another one. The only time I've ever seen this is up there at PCA, and I've never even heard anybody else talk about it. So
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
and let's be honest, in our travels, in all the cigar various retailers that we've been into, I have never once, whether it be Tobacco Republic, whether it be the Vault, whether it be wherever, I have never seen someone under 21 walk in and try to buy a cigar unless it was a freaking government sting.
Excuse me, sir. What cigar pairs well with fish sticks and chicken nuggies?
So
White Owl.
the argument continued. Now, this is one of the judges from the three-panel, Judge Pan. He, she, it, they, not sure because it doesn't specify, says, it seems to me that the things you are saying we should be worried are probably not really worrisome. They are not selling premium cigars in vending machines yet. They're luxury products. Some cigars are very expensive. Powell, the FDA attorney asserts that infrequent use does not negate danger that they provide, and they continue. Her argument basically became circular. The same points that they've talked about for years, and the judges, from the extent of the article, are done hearing this. So it's interesting how it shifted. It's no longer seems like the industry's on the uphill battle. In this particular instance, now the FDA is on the uphill battle.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's good news.
So I really like that. Now,
if the gorilla may for a second, because I've done this a couple times, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. Hi, cigar smoker, listener of the podcast. If you can hear my voice and you think that burning these leaves and bringing that smoke into your body has zero negative health effects whatsoever, you're dumb. Opposite of that, this certainly is probably the least health hazardous way to enjoy tobacco smoke. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we've talked about that on here before. Like, no cigar smoker is looking at this going, this is a curative, I will live forever. Like, no, like, clearly, same with alcohol, same with driving your car to work, same with anything, there is a risk. We have accepted that risk, and we're enjoying the cigars. It's not...
We're enjoying the benefits of that risk.
Yeah, we're enjoying the benefits of that risk. Like, if, 70 years from now, my doctor tells me, Mr. Marlott, you have throat cancer, I'll be like, yeah, no shit, I smoked cigars my whole life. Next. Like, if you smoke one occasionally, you could get sick. Like, yeah, no shit, you could get hit in your car on the way to work, and yet we still drive them. It's like, that argument is frustrating to me every time they bring it up.
Well, and it also harkens back to, when my father had his heart surgery, he had a valve replacement, and, his heart doctor said, Mr. Perry, do you smoke? And he said, well, yes, I have a cigar with my sons occasionally. And he said, no, I'm not worried about that. He goes, your cigar habit is not going to cause you problems because it's not a cigarette. And we won't go into that. We've done that in previous episodes. But the medical industry, and there's an article on the wall here in Tobacco Republic in the other room about 100-and-something-year-old man that smoked every day and was fine. There's no clinical research that backs the government or the anti-smoking people's claims that cigars have negative health effects to the extent like other forms of tobacco, i.e. cigarettes do and vape does. So, it's unfortunately with the society we live in, it's the argument we're going to continue to hear, and it's always going to be there, but it's significant gains in terms of continuing to enjoy our premium cigars and new blends coming out on the market and things like that, because a lot of the rules are regarding testing for new blends that are coming out, and it'll really shrink the market down. So we're winning, at least as far as that goes.
Well, and the thing that still sets, the cigar market apart from other types of tobacco is that, the additives, the fillers, everything that's in cigarettes, it's in chewing tobacco. And I was a leaf tobacco chewer for a long time, and considerable leaf tobacco chewer. I went through 2 bags of Levi Garrett every 3 days. So, and then that's documented, the negative health effects that you can have from that. And it's just, going back to what you said a minute ago, that they keep, circulating this same argument. Well, they do that because that's all they have.
Right.
They haven't come up with anything else, new, groundbreaking, revolutionary as to, oh my God, we found something that is actually bad about this. And it's nice to see that, now that we're at the point where what is this, the Ninth Circuit Court or?
No, it's, I don't know which circuit it is, but it's the appeals court that deals with Washington, D.C. and the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm not sure which circuit it is.
People of relative intelligence have just, they've decided they're tired of hearing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So, at some point you need to let, regular adults make some choices for themselves,
Yeah.
That's just what it comes down to.
Well, and it's taken 60 plus years of continuous research to reach that conclusion about cigarettes that they all bring up, right? It's going to take 60 years of dedicated research to figure out that vape is probably turning your lungs into,
Jello.
Jello.
Fiberglass, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's already extensive research on that.
If you go by that same token, people have been researching these for as long and have not come to those conclusions. Again, not saying this is a health product by any means in the long term, but it's not comparable to
You can't
the
compare
concentrated tobacco products.
You can't compare one to the other.
Yeah.
No, it's not apples to apples.
So, and it's nice to see that some people in the legal side of things are acknowledging that and pointing that out and telling the government, the FDA, whoever it is, hey, this argument's not going to work anymore. You need to pick a different direction or get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
so that's kind of nice, kind of refreshing to see.
I know, isn't it? So I know we have talked and interviewed the PCA twice now. Josh Habersky has been on twice, and he was the assistant executive director and one of their chief lobbyists for the duration that we've known him for several years. He is now the executive director of the PCA. But they put out a interesting article to their members, The Politics of Cigars. Basically, it's what's happened in the last couple of years. So if you don't know, or you're a newcomer to our show, not only are they one of the vessels that puts the manufacturers in touch with the retailers via their trade show every year, they're also the political activist arm of the cigar industry, one of several. So their job is to lobby against or for bills that are pro and anti-cigars. So during most of the recent time frame, we're looking at 2023 and 2024, they have been dealing with legislation that's been considered in all 50 states. 499 bills that they've tracked so far. 404 bills have failed. 85 of those bills have passed, and 10 of them are in limbo. The major issues that they're looking at: minimum age to purchase tobacco. As we know, the government, Congress just recently enacted 21 or older. Mm-hmm. That's set in stone. There's nothing we can do. Again, I come back to, I've never seen a minor, someone less than 21, walk in here and try to buy a cigar, unless it's the sheriff's department and they're doing a sting. Licensing to sell with a focus on vape e-cigarette products. That licensing comes with the problem of they try to lump premium cigars and what's known as OTP, other tobacco products like pipe tobacco, things like that, into those same categories. So they fight that. They're also looking at flavor bans that have been put in across the country. It says here none of them have passed. I don't know exactly how true that is, because California has one implemented right now. Mm-hmm. There is a problem with buying flavored cigars in this state, as well as menthol tobacco.
Are they focusing on federal level, or
I think it's the federal level.
Yeah. They're talking about remote sellers regulation and taxation. Local authority to limit some states into what they're doing. For example, the state of Massachusetts, their little boroughs that they call in their Commonwealth are trying to pass different legislations for various tobacco bans. They have been successful in a couple of states, I think Pennsylvania being one of them, to help promote laws that include settings much like this, where you have a lounge in your tobacco store so people can enjoy their premium cigars in the climate-controlled environment, not just outside in their homes. Obviously, they're trying to get premium tobacco taxes capped. Maryland and Rhode Island raised their cigarette taxes, but they didn't raise OTP products, which is great. And a new thing that has popped up, the United States has talked about this, hasn't done anything with it yet. The country of New Zealand, communists, did it, but repealed it, and that is a generational smoking ban. No one after, for example, born after 2001, or I'm sorry, 2001 can buy tobacco products. You're really going to limit an adult to what they can and can't buy. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, when I first heard that was just ridiculous. I was trying to figure out, you're really going to enforce this?
Yeah.
Of all the shit they need to spend time and money on, this is going to be at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Now, some of the things that they're actually looking forward in for the 2025 legislative year is planning premium tobacco cigar tax caps legislations in Nebraska and Georgia, and reintroducing tax cap bills in Wyoming, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. Good bloody luck. Cigar bar legislation in Ohio, Wisconsin, New York, and possibly Maryland and Michigan, which, I've been to a couple of those states, and cigar bars and cigar lounges are lacking out there. So it's good if they can get that passed.
What, in New York?
New York is one of them, yes. New York and Massachusetts are actually on their third point, anticipated to try and increase their taxes next year.
Oh, okay.
And New York already has an 80% tax.
Okay, I thought you were talking about cigar bars because I found a couple in Manhattan.
Yeah,
but those are most likely
grandfathered in.
Yes, because they've been there forever. There are currently a dozen states that are planning to implement flavor bans. They're also talking about new licensing and new licensing regulations coming in for various states. And on top of that, how much authority does the local government has compared to the federal level, which we already went through that 100 and some odd years ago where the state government gets tried to overridden by the federal government. So we don't want to go through that again. But, if you're wondering why the organization exists, that's why. They are there much like another organization that deals with firearms rights. They are the same thing without the political grandstanding and intrigue that goes along with it. They're there to fight for us as cigar smokers. So if you can, support them support the retailers that support them.
They're multifaceted. They represent the individual smoker like ourselves. They represent the retailers. They represent the wholesalers, the manufacturers. They have a hand in every facet of the cigar industry.
Yeah.
Because none functions without the other. So, I was amazed at how intricate that operation is when Josh explained it to us the first time he was on with us. If you don't think about, what goes into, getting a law passed or keeping a law from getting passed or any of that kind of stuff. So, what the legalities are of manufacturing something in the Dominican Republic or Honduras or Nicaragua or wherever and trying to get it here, legally taxed, sold,
Yes.
Distributed,
Importing, all that.
And if you guys would be interested, if you haven't heard the episode that Larry's referencing, if you go to our back catalog, whether you go through YouTube or you go through one of your favorite podcast platforms, go back to the November 2021. One of the two episodes that is in that month is where we talked to Josh for the first time. And that will go, you'll see what they're doing and when back then what his position was, which was to basically meet with the legislation. And I don't know if you guys probably didn't see it because the emails for the most part don't go to your individual accounts, but they were doing also during the Democratic convention and the Republican convention, they were doing meetings with various senators and congressmen about cigar laws and how they can help. And there are actually some pro-cigar bills at the federal level that some of the junior senators are trying to get into, which I wish them luck because we know how that's going to go. But at least pro-cigar legislation is trying to be put forth.
How does pro-cigar legislation land party-wise? Is it usually one side or the other? Is it fairly...
Believe it or not, according to Josh, and I'm going back to 2021 interview, believe it or not, there are cigar smokers on both sides of the aisle.
I believe that entirely.
So,
I figured it would be a fairly bipartisan, at least somewhat.
It is, but there's not enough of them. Much like the general population of the planet that smokes cigars is around 1% of 7 billion people. If you translate that to Congress as a whole, you're maybe looking at,
30 people.
30 of them?
Yeah.
So
it'd be interesting to see what the age demographic is out of those. If it's, let's say that number is 30, how many of those people are under 40?
I was about to say, I think it's going to be a lot of older demographic.
Yes and no. I could see it being the other way around though too.
You think so?
Well, look at how many younger people we've come across in the last 10 years. of us smoking. Look at the difference. Look at the difference from the first time we were at Rocky Mountain to the last time we were at Rocky Mountain, Scott, and that was only 4 years.
Yeah.
Look at how many more younger people were there the last time, how many more women were there to actually participate.
Yeah.
Because they smoke cigars, whether it's, casually, now and then, or they're a regular smoker, like ourselves. So the demographic is definitely changing, and that can only be a positive thing for the industry as a whole.
Definitely.
But so, I think I wouldn't be surprised either way. If what you said was true, and it was a bunch of, old standards,
Older, but I'm not. Yeah.
but I think we would, much like Gorilla said, is it being bipartisan, kind of across the aisle. I think it's going to encompass, from the age groups, pretty steadily too. Just because this seems to be the direction that the industry is going. You're seeing, more younger people now than you did 10 years ago. Definitely more women smoking now than 10 years ago.
Yeah, I've noticed that over the past few years.
And I don't get as much negative feedback if I'm smoking out in public somewhere nowadays as I did a few years ago.
Yeah.
Depending on where you go. I mean, there's certain areas that it's just not a good idea, to be smoking,
Well, yeah, we're talking about locally in parts of the Bay Area.
Yeah,
but out here, you don't see it. The comment I get a lot of the time from even younger women is, oh, my God, that smells so good. It reminds me of usually my father or my grandfather.
Yep. No, I get that a lot, too.
Yes.
And, again, that's just, it's a conversation starter, If somebody wants to come up and ask me about it, I'll talk to you about cigars all day long.
Oh,
I don't care.
absolutely.
Well, I hearken back to when we were camping in the Redwoods last year. I mean, we're all sitting out there in Larry's, taking over Larry's campsite, smoking cigars and having a drink and having a good time. How many of those people walking by, and we're in a fairly liberal county, we're walking by going, oh my God, that smells great. I used to smoke cigars, or, or I'd love to try one. And, there were a couple times where like, come on in and join us, but they refused. But, I think that's also part of the industry too, is a lot of the standoff nature that cigar smokers used to have, I think is also going away. There's a lot more, let's bring people into the party versus exclude them from the party.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the marketing, the advertising, a lot of that stuff has changed over the last several years. It's the product itself is more marketable now than it was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. You're seeing, younger people in the manufacture, distribution, and sales of the product that you didn't see,
That's true.
When you and I started smoking, Scott,
yeah.
That was, you couldn't, even when I was 40, I couldn't go into a brick and mortar place and find a 40-year-old,
That's true. When I first started, like in the early 2000s, when I really, really got into it, everybody was older.
Yep. And that's just how the industry was. So, I think we're seeing a lot of change. And I think it's good. So
I love it.
One of the prime examples is right there in front of the Gorilla Cam. Good God, that's creepy. What is that?
Do you need some Miralax? You okay, man?
Too many bananas, not enough peanut butter?
Look deep into my eyes.
Wow, that's not creepy at all. But your son's joined you in your venture, and
well, that's because I wouldn't let him out of the van. But
well, yeah, my brother's the same way over there on his PC. He got into smoking. Wes and I were the negative influence on a camping trip that got Craig into smoking.
Well, you're at 1 out of 3 because your other 2 sons don't really.
No, Pat, my youngest, will every once in a while. He'll smoke something. Chris could give 2 shits less, but Chris will vape anything.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Unicorn farts and everything.
No, I mean Jesus Christ, some of the shit that because he works with us too. It's he and I and the gorilla, and I don't even know what to say to the stuff he vapes.
Why does Larry's business smell like raspberries and cream? What the hell is that?
Yeah, I just and I'm to the point where it's like, hey, whatever. I mean, you do you.
I'm surprised you didn't slap it out of his hand and put a cigar in his mouth.
No, because then I'd have to be, he'd be fishing out of my humidor for cigars. That's horseshit. You buy your own vape, do whatever you want. And then it just, and I know I shouldn't be surprised anymore, but what limited exposure I have to people that buy cigarettes, I'm always shocked when somebody tells me what they paid for a package, a pack of cigarettes. I'm just like,
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, because I buy them for my old man, and yeah.
Your pop started smoking when they were 25 cents a pack. Huh?
Well, yeah.
I
remember the days he used to write the note and send me to the store.
Yeah. Joe, my son Scotty here is allowed to buy me. Yeah,
2 packs of cool menthol.
Yep.
Christmas trees, if I remember Larry's description.
No, that was the cool non-filters.
Yes. Now he smokes Filter Kings.
Ooh, damn, he's coming up in the world.
And now that
does he break the filter off, or does he actually smoke them? No, I mean that's a thing, man. I don't know, man. I remember, and I've said before, but I remember when I was working the gas station and cigarettes jumped from 55 cents to 65 cents a pack in one jump because of taxes, and people were losing their mind. My old man, they get to $1 a pack, I'll quit. Now, your ass, you've been smoking for 60 years. But
I'm 55 years old, and I still hearken to my childhood when I'm walking out the door, and he's like, "Hey, Scotty, you going to Thunder Valley? You give me a pack of cool Filter Kings, because they're menthol at the Indian
at the casino. Yeah, they don't have none of that bullshit flavor regulation.
That'll be $17, please."
What?
It's about that neighborhood, yeah.
Holy Christ.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it's just,
hey,
the older we get, man.
That's right.
Gorilla, you look like you have something over there.
No.
Not a damn thing, huh?
Nope.
All
Just
right,
being inquisitive.
Well, you're about a third of the way in, so am I. So what are you thinking about that natural, Anthony?
Fucking good. Like, it's really, again, it's a natural, it's a Connecticut. It's not, it's flavorful, but it's nothing crazy. It's just a solid, good Sinestro Connecticut.
Yeah.
A little spicy up front, and then it's mellowed out. It's good. I really like it. I do, even though it's not the Maduro, I do agree. I'm glad I went and got food before this, just because I think smoking anything with having not eaten anything since breakfast would have been really shitty. But yeah, no, really good. That's all I got.
That's okay.
Very solid.
Mr. Maduro?
I've had to. Pardon me. I didn't want the lighter noise, and then I forgot to pull the mic back. I've had to touch this a couple of times, mostly because I've been talking, I guess. But I'm probably halfway through this one, as I smoke a little slower than you guys. But no, it's very, very consistent. It's a good draw, and I did a very light cut on this, so pulling a ton of smoke through it. It's got great flavor. Very well constructed, which is, you can say that about any of Sinestro cigars.
Yeah.
Everything they put out, construction wise, I can't remember ever having anything that was, went sideways as far as, blowing up or burning funny or anything like that. But yeah, no, I'm really happy with this. This is definitely something I'll pick up a couple of and, throw in the rotation now and then.
Right on.
Coffee, bourbon, both?
I probably more coffee or a beer than bourbon.
That would overpower it.
I think you'd have one fighting the other.
Yeah.
So you'd be constantly going, which taste do I have? And I feel that way with a lot of Maduro cigars,
Yeah.
and bourbon or Scotch. Something more middle of the road for me, for bourbon. I haven't tried the Connecticut yet, but there are very few Connecticut's that I smoke with bourbon too, because if all I wanted was bourbon, I would just have some bourbon.
Right.
If I want a drink and a cigar, I would like them to complement each other. And typically, the bourbons that I choose or the scotches that I choose are going to overpower a Connecticut a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually just thinking about that because the bourbon that I have, shocking to both of you, I know recently gotten into that I found I like quite a bit is Eagle Rare. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking about the Eagle Rare is because this is on the lighter side. Is it a solid medium? Yes, I think so. But it's going to compete with the sweet brown sugar notes of the bourbon and get lost. So it'd be difficult for me.
Okay.
Yeah, for something like that, you almost need to go to the complete extreme of almost, no flavor notes in a Connecticut, or get something that's kind of, middle of the road. Mm-hmm. Sumatra, something like that. That's where I tend to go with a bourbon or a Scotch, is something, something like that.
Yeah.
This, I think, with a hazy IPA, maybe even into the darker beers a little bit, I think would be great.
Sounds good.
And Scott, we know it. We know where you're at, man.
Oh, you know where I'm at. It's an apostate.
That's a solid choice, no matter what.
Oh man, the initiatory. Oh, out of apostate, one of my favorite ones. But you can't go wrong with any of them. I'm looking forward to the other two.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't even know what they're called yet.
Yeah.
I
don't
it's
care.
7 and 8.
Yeah.
Good.
But
That's what we're going to call them. Good.
But yeah, those will be this coming Friday. So not this Friday. It's the 4th of October. It's V-Cut's 4th anniversary party. They're going to feature Matt Sass, who we've talked to with my father, and they're going to feature Brandon Overson from Apostate, which we've talked to. It's just going to be a good time, and I'm looking forward to seeing, getting some 7 and 8s for the four of us so we can get some reviews out on those.
Rock on. I like it.
I can't wait. So we at final thoughts. Where are we at here? We got no emails.
We've got no fan mail recently. So
I've got an idea.
Okay.
We were playing with something a little earlier before the show. The gorilla inspired this.
Uh-oh.
Why is it every time I come up with an idea, I see derision or fear?
Because every time you say the gorilla, I start thinking.
Let's go back and take a look at some of your ideas.
My itinerary and calendar schedule pop into my head and go, okay, where am I going to fit this? What do we got going on?
And you mentioned on your podcast, Best Care Anywhere, the MASH podcast. Be sure to check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. But the idea that you had for MASH, I'm going to translate it a little bit.
Okay.
And run it through a blender. And I want to hear your thoughts, gentlemen. If we casted ourselves as Muppets, which Muppet would we be?
I knew this is where it was going.
Lord.
Nice.
I'm just putting it out there. This is content.
For context, the touch point for this conversation was I posed the question to our audience on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Fuck you, Elon.
Wow, someone's hostile.
Fucking send a rocket to my house. I don't care.
Hey, cocksucker, you live with me.
Hey, he can land him on a ship. He can hit my room specifically.
On better note, we'll be looking for 2 new hosts on Beyond the Humidor because Larry and Anthony are going to die.
I posed the question to our audience. I said, hear me out. MASH. Get rid of every actor except Alan Alda and replace them with Muppets. And the responses were wonderful. But but
Okay.
So I wanted to bring that-
back to Scott's question.
Yes.
Do we have to stay with Muppets, or can we replace with any cartoon character, Sesame Street? You know, I mean,
You know what? I'm open. Let's do it in two parts. Let's start with the Muppets, then we'll go to cartoons. Let's have some fun with this. So,
okay, I'm not. I don't know much about
Okay.
the Muppets, so
So I'm casting, if it were me,
if it were you,
Anthony would be Bunsen Honeydew. Larry would be freaking Gonzo. No questions about it. And you would be Sam the Eagle. I, on the other hand,
here it comes.
because I'm
Miss
a
Piggy?
no, because I'm a
I feel like Miss Piggy has to be one of them, just because Miss Piggy is that awesome.
no, I'd be more either Statler or Waldorf, because I have that grumpy.
No.
Yeah, but it's that English thing. Yeah,
There are no English Muppets. That's the
For
sad
good
part.
reason.
stuffy fuckers. All right.
I feel like any one of you can be Statler and or Waldorf at any given time. depending
That's
on what
also
we're talking
true.
about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Larry on a bad day can also be Sam the Eagle. Like, fucking, just sitting there.
Fuck you.
Damn you, Daddy.
So if we're gonna cross lines now,
Okay, let's cross lines.
if Greg is not Yosemite Sam or Elmer Fudd,
There you go.
I don't know who is.
No, there you go. That's
No, that'd be
perfect.
me. That's perfect.
That's Elmer
I
Fudd.
even have the hat.
I'm sure you do, you goofy fuck.
Roy gave it to me for Christmas one year.
Oh, the world's largest Korean gave
Yes.
you an Elmer Fudd hat.
Yes, he did.
Thanks, Roy. Oh, and Scott, you know, I mean, I love you. I know you ain't gonna like this.
Okay, let me get ready for it. I'm not mid-cigar. I'm not going to retrohale. I'm all ears.
Gorilla, if there's any way you could Photoshop Fat Albert in,
Nah, I think Race Bannon works better.
and what was the guy that pulled his hat down over his eyes?
Who was that?
I can't remember that guy's name. Look at Gorilla. We ruined Gorilla, man.
Man, I knew you were going to say Fat Albert, and I'm still disappointed. Like, he's going to go with the most obvious black cartoon character. All right, here we go.
I am not that fucking fat.
But you're that funny.
You're that black. Dude, I'm sorry. It was hanging in the room, and I feel like if someone didn't say it, it was just gonna-
There's going to be a murder today.
Oh God! All right, anybody else? This
All right, Mr. Robinson.
This is far we're going to drag this.
Well, I mean, definitely Elmer Fudd, but Hank and Bobby, especially when you wear the shorts.
Yeah, okay, can't argue that.
I mean, that's Bobby. That is
funny.
Bobby.
It's funny you say that, man, because when we were sitting here earlier waiting for the place to clear out, I came across a picture on Facebook of the whole King of the Hill, but as Chicanos.
I've seen that.
All posed out in the front yard. It's like, huh.
Greg's Bill.
Sure. Never watched King of the Hill, don't know.
Watch an episode. You're Bill.
Yeah.
Well, and then
You should be offended. Let's put it that.
if we're gonna go this way, you know, from Muppets to regular cartoons, you know, old school cartoons, well, then we have to throw in the Simpsons. Who do we? Which Simpson are we at that point?
Ned Flanders.
Who?
You?
Me.
Yeah.
Howdy honey. God.
What'd you say?
Yeah, what the fuck you say?
Howdy doodly, neighbor.
That's not what I heard.
That's not what I heard either.
You cut neighbor way too short.
Okay. Hey, you know, the mind hears what it wants to hear, audience.
Wow.
I mean, hell, when we did this way back when, you know, I was Cartman and you were Token. That'd be South Park for you all that don't get that reference.
I think the gorilla is what, Abu, Oh, isn't that the guy's name?
The convenience store, that's Apu.
Apu. I was close.
Oh, hello, Mr. Simpson.
Greg, comic book guy.
I don't watch The Simpsons either, so
I feel like depending on, again, what episode in the context, I could also be comic book guy. Like, you guys are doing your thing. It's like, well, actually.
don't be Sheldon Cooper.
What's the guy that owns the bar?
Mo.
I'll do Mo.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you're Mo. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck you. You're right.
Greg could be Smithers.
No. I know where
Thank
his
you,
mind
sir.
goes. No.
Excellent.
I'm not creeping on some freaking old man ready to die.
Why, your brother could be the old man ready to die.
No, if Craig's gonna, if we're gonna rope Craig into this, he's Dale Gribble. Hank. Light bulbs are a government conspiracy, Hank.
Got him. Reel him in. Get the net. We can get him in the boat. Now, what's back to the Simpsons real quick. If Greg is Smithers, then Ron is... Fuck you, Ron. You said you didn't want to be on the podcast. Welcome aboard, bitch.
Woo!
And this will be the last recording.
Yeah, Tobacco Republic.
Yeah.
Bold of you to think Ron listens to this.
Now, I'm really fucking surprised that Larry, when we talked about expanding the cartoon Nebula, that he didn't say, look at me and go, Grape Ape or Magilla or Yogi.
Dude,
You and I could do a hell of a Yogi and Boo Boo.
Oh, yeah.
Calling me Magilla Gorillas, again, kind of like Fat Albert. It's like, really? That's the best you got? Okay, cool.
No, you're more like a droopy dog.
He could be droopy.
We could do a hell of a Fred and Barney.
There you go.
You know?
You have big Fred energy. Big Fred energy.
So is that what make the tall one Barney? Make Scott Barney?
No. I think if we had
That would make Sue
Fred
Betty.
Scott's not aloof enough for that.
Okay. Enough of this. Hey, Gorilla, take me home.
No, we're going to continue it on the next podcast. I'm going to come back with notes.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
I'm looking forward. I almost feel that's a little too low, but I'm not going to complain. I'm going to have faith in the Gorilla. So, we weren't drinking on this episode.
We probably should have been.
Half the problem is, just so you know, I haven't found Jesus or become a teetotaler. Just because we don't have an implement where I can place the bottle, me holding on to like a brown paper sack just isn't appealing. So no drink, but cigar is getting close to the nub. So I think it's about that time. I want to thank you for joining us on our latest episode, and on behalf of the CEO of Gorilla Industries, compliments of Gorilla Cam, Larry and Greg, myself, thank you for listening. Check us out at LumaCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. We are lacking in fan mail, so drop us a line. Let us know you're out there.
What cartoon character do you think we should be?
Yeah, with that topic,
that'll
it's got to
go
come
well.
in.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Great idea. I'm Scott Robinson, and on behalf of us all here, hey, thanks a bunch. And until the next episode, stay healthy and safe. My funky keyboard is here, so about to make my exit. So stay healthy and safe, and as I always say, good smoke, good drink, and good life.